Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Julia Stiles is returning to the New York stage, co-starring opposite James Wirt in the new Scott Organ play Phoenix. Under the direction of Jennifer DeLia, it will begin performances on July 28th at the Cherry Lane Theater, and I caught up with them during a break in rehearsal.
Well, what attracted me to the play is that it's not cynical, ultimately. And I mean, I love the idea of doing a two-hander, but to me, it like really deals with the fight or flight instinct that can take over in any given relationship, and how these characters deal with their instincts. And I just thought it would be really fun. Like it's got a great sense of humor, but it also it does tackle some deep stuff. And you know, I was like dying to do a play, and Jen coincidentally called me and said I had a dream that we should do a play together. And so, in true, it was sort of serendipitous. I just thought it would be really challenging and fun, and like I started in downtown theater, so I feel like it's kind of getting back to my roots, and it's brought me back to all the reasons why I wanted to be an actress in the first place, and the joy that I find in playing, you know, and telling a story, and the live performance aspect of it too is the closest I'll ever get to being in a band.
I like that, you know, comparison that you have with being in a band. I like that a lot. What can you tell us about your character without giving too much away?
Well, I play a woman named Sue who is kind of nomadic, and she, as I said, the fight or flight instinct is what's brought up in the play, and she definitely has the instinct to fly in the other direction as in terms of intimacy, but she's someone who's not as self-aware as she would like to think she is, but she also has a great sense of humor, which I find really fun.
I know it's early in the rehearsal process, but you know, you're all sort of friends. What's it been like working on this piece? Tell me.
It's so great. I mean, we've gotten so close, and I knew Jen socially before, and I had met Jimmy a little bit, but you know, before we started rehearsals, we went away on this retreat that was really luxurious, but we got to start rehearsals there, but also just kind of spend time together and bond and get to know each other more, and it's just been wonderful. Like, we're all very like-minded. Jimmy's really playful, which keeps things spontaneous and interactive, and Jen is like, she's really good at nurturing us, but also getting us to play underneath the words, so that she loves to do this thing where you sort of deliver a line in the exact opposite way you would expect. So like, if my line were "I'm grumpy," I would go "I'm grumpy," and it's just really fun.
You know, you work so beautifully between film and stage. Why do you always come back to the theater? Because it's such a sacred place, the theater. I mean, again, it's where I started, but I feel like nowadays we're all so in our own worlds and distracted and drawn in so many different directions with social media and our phones and the internet and technology, and that can be very isolating. And the theater is like one of the few places left where we can really sit around the campfire, so to speak, and share in the same storytelling experience. You're getting ready to play one of the most beautiful theaters in New York, the Cherry Lane. I mean, how excited are you about playing there? Yeah, it's beautiful. That street is beautiful, Commerce Street. It feels really special, you know. And I also grew up, not in that neighborhood, but I went to school in that neighborhood, and so it feels like I'm getting back to my playful childhood. It's why we all got into this business in the first place, you know? Yeah, yeah. Now, you're all about to do a film too, right? The three of you? Yeah, well, Jen is developing this movie about Mary Pickford that Jimmy and I are supposed to be in, but yeah, I don't know when that's exactly going to happen, but it's about Mary Pickford and like the start of the cinema. That's exciting too. What a great project to be working on. Yeah, and the start of like celebrity too. But I really look forward to, you know, working with Jen more and more, because I think we have a really nice collaborative relationship. So I was going to ask you, what has she been like working in the rehearsal room? You know, I asked her what the challenges were for her as a director with a two-hander. She's just giving it up to the actors, and the three of us just work on this together. You know, what's it been like for you working with her? She's fantastic. She's really, you know, this is her first play, but she's so nurturing. Very, very patient. She's got great suggestions. She's very attentive, but again, it's very hard for a director to be restrained and step back and say, and let us go through our process and discover things ourselves. So she's really good at guiding us, but also not trying to control things.
Well, I already started talking to you. This is so exciting. Take me back to the beginning of when you read the play and why you wanted to direct it.
Okay, yeah. Julia and James and I were throwing plays to each other, trying to figure out which one we were going to do. And I was really looking for something that dealt with sexual identity, that had a lot of subtext in it, you know, that it's really can be interpreted in so many different ways. So this one really spoke to me because it's about two strangers. And it's a one-night stand, and it literally is the long-term consequences of what was supposed to be a short-term relationship. So I think it's something that a lot of people relate to, you know, and I love that what's on the page is not what you're going to see. You can just fill it with so much fun stuff because it's the journey. It's the journey of these two, and kind of realizing in the end that, oh shit, sorry. It's like,
you can use it.
Okay, yeah, that we really don't know each other, you know? That we've gone through all of this and like, oh, wow, there's a lot of projecting going on, you know? So it really just sucked me in kind of off the bat, yeah.
I love plays like that it's one thing on the page, and then it's like, oh no, it's not that at all.
Completely. It goes in so many different directions. Every scene is a roller coaster, and it's sometimes dark, it's sometimes hilarious, and again, just super relatable.
Yeah. And talk about working with Julia and James.
Okay, they're both amazing. James and I have a history. We've done a feature film together that's coming out in the fall. I've known him for 12 years. We met in an acting class, and I've seen him just completely grow as an actor and become literally one of my top 3 favorite actors that I know. And Julia is so professional and just a joy to work with. She's just really respectful of the direction and the vision, but super collaborative, and the two of them together is the chemistry is there, and it's exciting. It's like art and life kind of imitating each other, because these two people that don't know each other are figuring each other out as they go through the process of putting this play on, which is exactly what's happening in the play, is these two people trying to figure each other out. So I love that, like, parallel kind of thing, you know?
Now, you work in film and stage.
Yeah.
What are the challenges of working on stage, like in a two-hander with just 2 actors?
I'm still figuring that out. I think that, I mean, it obviously just completely relies on them. There's no ducking out, and but I think that's great because it keeps the momentum going. It keeps them in it, you know, all the time. I think the challenges are just, for me, coming from film, is just understanding, you know, the perspective of the audience in a theater versus when something is being projected, you know, in a film. It's completely different. So, but in terms of the two-hander aspect, I think it's so exciting to just keep that momentum going with the two, you know.
I was going to ask you, what are you looking forward to the most with bringing the show to the Cherry Lane, and what do you think audiences will take away?
I am looking forward to being in the Village, literally at the Cherry Lane. I think it's so charming and so historical, and to bring something so fresh and provocative into that space, I think it's a great dichotomy, and I think our show works super well in there, and I hope that people take away, I really hope that they take away this idea of
I do reference the Grand Canyon.
Just what it means to really get to know somebody, you know, that's something that we take for granted, and it's okay to be real, you know. I think you find humor in life the more real you are, and you can kind of make fun of yourself, and it doesn't always have to be such a serious thing, you know. We're all kind of in it doing that, and just being downtown is great, and the vibe, and I mean, I could just go on and on and on. I think it's going to be an amazing experience. Yeah.
So here we are. So how many weeks of rehearsal have you guys had?
We've had, actually this is beginning our 2nd, which is really our 5th rehearsal. Then we had the bonding retreat that we were kind of talking about, which was, you know, like 4 nights in Jersey at this really nice house. So we've had a little bit of time together, but officially this is our 5th day.
So what has the rehearsal process been like so far?
It's been a blast. I mean, it's been a lot of discovery. I mean, there's been a lot of challenges within my own character, finding what I'm doing, finding my points of view, really, but discovering those things has just been fantastic, and just the chemistry and finding on that has been excellent, and our director's been really great at helping us see things, you know. It's just that whole process is why I love it, you know.
Now talk about the role that you play.
Okay, I'm playing Bruce, and Bruce is actually really cool because he's refreshing. He's a nice guy, you know, and it's funny because I'm a nice guy. I mean, I guess I'm a nice guy, but she'll always be like, less cocky with the character, and he just kind of wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't play games really, you know. He's had experience in a relationship, a real relationship, a wife, and now he just kind of doesn't have a guard up. And her character has, I'll let her talk to you more about that, but has, you know, is different in that way, and it's interesting for me to play with that because, you know, maybe I'm a little more scared in life, so I will put a guard up. So for him to be so open is really fun to explore, and then like, oh, I can, you know, you learn from your characters in a way, which I think is really fascinating.
So take me back to the beginning when you first read the play. Tell me what it's about and what attracted you to this pice.
Okay, well, I can't say too much because it's the plot, but what it is about, well, the kind of slogans they've been saying is don't just think of one night stand, only lasts one night. You know, so, but what attracted me to the play was these two people trying to find themselves, find each other in the world that it is, and I guess all world where, you know, everything is dying, whether that's love, relationship, our lives at some point, and just fighting for what you want and really discovering things about yourself. And it's really a good character piece in that way, you know, where you find these discoveries about your own humanity, and you're like, wow, that's interesting. And it's really, and it's charming. That's really what attracted me too. It's really charming.
And working with DeLia so far.
Oh, it's been a blast. She's great. She's a lot of fun. She's such a professional, you know, and it's great when you really get to work with somebody so intimately, because if you're on a film, you just show up and you'll rehearse maybe a little bit, but you don't get to see their process and see what they put into it, and it's just a treat to see that she's such a professional and so fantastic, and it's inspiring, really. She's really great.
And working with your director, because you worked with her before, and you have a film you just worked on, right?
We had a film that we did that's coming out, Billy Bates, and it's interesting working with her now in theater because I've only worked with her in film, and she's just so, she can, amiable, I guess is the word, between film and theater, and she really gets it. She just has a really, which is great about a director, has a really clear vision that also can just cerebrally get, I don't know if that's a word, cerebral. She's very cerebral and can grab ideas, but also knows how to help let that affect the body so that you're not all in your head. But she's fantastic at lasering in on what's going on and what's this about and creating this moment. And my job is to explode the moment, you know. So it's a lot. It's been great working with her.
What are you looking forward to the most with bringing this play to a New York audience?
Looking forward to the most. I'm just excited for them to see it and to I hope I'm excited for them to see it, and I hope that they just get as much joy out of it as we are, you know. And that's what, if you're putting your heart into it, hopefully other people feel that, and I think that's, you know, that's the reward, you know.